In this video, I want to take you through how one of the largest financial institutions in the world continues to lie to you about the crypto space. I always say, watch what they do, not what they say. We're going to tackle that again today. On top of that, I want to go through some positive notes within the crypto space. And at the very end, I want to go over the king of the crypto jungle and how that's playing out as we move forward. So let's dive right into the topics at hand. So I told you that one of the largest financial institutions in the world continues to lie to you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Jamie Dimon, JPMorgan, those two are synonymous with each other. And he has gone on the record many times saying Bitcoin is useless, crypto is useless, and yet they continue to play in the crypto space. He first came out saying, he being Jamie Dimon, came out saying that if any of his traders were caught trading Bitcoin or crypto, that they would be fired on the spot. Think about that, on the spot. Then they go ahead and start using the blockchain and creating their own. They also started to facilitate moves into the metaverse. So all these are still part of the crypto blockchain space. And yet here's what is being said, right? But lo and behold, look at this. JPMorgan executes first DeFi, meaning decentralized finance trade, on public blockchain. Okay, so what does that mean? So JPMorgan, a lot of what they do has to do with stocks, bonds, derivatives, the trading assets. And so what those trading assets do is they actually take up a lot of fees, and they do a lot of things that within the traditional space cut into JPMorgan's cut of the pie, basically. And so what they're trying to do now is, well, they want to see how decentralized finance, which doesn't have the same type of fees and doesn't have those issues, and there's no middleman for some of these, asset trades, how can they get involved with that so they can still move the same type of volume but not get hit with the same fees? So the narrative about crypto being a scam or crypto being useless is only in place so long as JPMorgan and the rest of the banks cannot benefit themselves. That's it. But behind the scenes, they're trying to figure out how is it that we can make bang for our buck in this space. And once they figure that out, which they're on their way to doing, then the narrative is going to change that, hey, look, blockchain's amazing. It's publicly, it's public records. We're fully transparent. They're going to say all these things because they've already immersed themselves in it and they're set up to win. And so now as the mass public starts to jump on blockchain and Web3 and crypto as a whole, who's going to stand to gain? It's people who have already built themselves within the infrastructure, which is what JPMorgan is doing, which is what all the banks are doing. So just to read a little bit about what's happening here is this was actually a pilot that they did, and they took, I believe it was $100,000 US that they did. They tokenized it, and they wanted to settle some trade, and all within a tokenized fashion. And so this was, and it goes on to say that the pilot was another step into examining how traditional financial institutions can use tokenized assets and decentralized finance protocols to conduct financial transactions among other use cases. So translation, they're trying to figure out how they can make this new technology, new asset class, new way of doing things work in their favor. That's what they want to do. But here's a really big thing here. I've mentioned many times on this channel, one of my favorite, actually the favorite altcoin or alt project for me is Polygon. And who did JPMorgan use, or which protocol did they use to facilitate this trade? Was right here. The trade was executed on Ethereum network, layer 2 Polygon. So they use Polygon and they use Aave, which is another decentralized financial entity. Pretty big that they use both of those well-known entities within the crypto space. So it's not even like, they tried to use some sort of obscure protocol that no one knows about that they can kind of claim as their own. These are already two big giants in the space, and they used their know-how, knowledge, and technology to facilitate something for a pilot. Okay, so you guys, you just gotta pay attention. I always say, watch what they do, not what they say. And they're doing a lot of things within the blockchain space, but are still maintaining their stance that crypto, Web3, blockchain is useless. So I had to highlight that because JPMorgan is like I said, one of the most recognized financial institutions, and Jamie Dimon, being the CEO of JPMorgan, is one of the most recognized CEOs and influential financial figure out there. So what they're saying and what they're doing is not jiving. So I wanted to really bring that to your attention because that really gets lost in what we're doing these days. Okay, but let's move on to some more positive news. All right. And for all of you NFT haters, if you are an NFT hater right now or are unsure of, is this even a real thing going forward? Because everything's been about art. All you hear is, 7 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures sales of art. And you're like, what's the big deal? The use cases go beyond that. But what's the big deal is Instagram has, and obviously Meta, who owns Instagram, will soon allow creators to mint their own collectibles, their own NFTs, and then they can sell them on Instagram itself directly to their audience. And so this is great for creators because it gets engagement at a higher level with their followers, fans, whatever you want to call them. But also it's great for the followers because there are mechanisms in place where they can get closer to their creator and also a way for them to make some revenue. Same for the creators as well. It's really a two-sided market, but it's a two-sided market where both actually benefit or can benefit depending how it plays out. So if you think NFTs are or were a fad and are now out the window, you guys have no idea. Okay, if Facebook changed its name to Meta, and I know they're getting ripped in the media these days. That's what the media does. Zuckerberg knows what's up. And he would not make that transition into changing the brand, essentially, for a company that's already established and kicking butt. It wouldn't make any sense. He's not an idiot. And now on top of that, now you have Instagram owned by Facebook, which is allowing creators to create NFTs. And then there's a buying, selling mechanism on Instagram itself. Massive news. So whether you like it or you don't like it, that's not the point. NFTs are here to stay. They're going to grow. They're going to thrive. The use cases are going to get bigger. And it's going to change the game moving forward. Mark my words, 100%. You will start using NFTs as organically as you use the internet. That will happen. Okay, so I wanted to share that. That's really big news there. And then the last thing I wanted to share here is all the volatility that happened today. Okay, and here's the issue that comes down with the stock market these days. Not these days, all the time, but having an alternative to the stock market really shows you the difference between things that are heavily manipulated based on a public announcement, an interview, an article in the traditional financial space, the stock market. So Jerome Powell here, head of the Fed, goes on to say look, they've announced already that they're going to raise rates, or they did raise rates, right? 0.75. And this article goes on to say that, hey, look, this is the 6th time they've done that this year, which is crazy. And the last 4 have all been the same level of rate hike. But what happened was most people thought that, hey, look, that's kind of par for the course, and the Fed's going to slow everything down in terms of rate hikes. So the market actually took off because of that. And then Jerome Powell comes on, makes an announcement, and he's saying, hey, look, we're still going to stay the course. Whatever it takes, we're going to do. So while the incremental change in the rates going forward, the rate hikes may be smaller, overall, the absolute number, the total number, will be higher than possibly what we even predicted. So what happened? Stocks tanked. Everything went crazy. All right. Just look at here. I want to show you guys this. Okay, this is the S&P of where it was. Boom, craters down. NASDAQ, boom, craters down. Okay, everything was smashed. My stock portfolio looks hideous, worse than it did before. It's crazy. But I mentioned in the beginning of this video that there is a king of the crypto jungle, and that is Bitcoin. So with all the volatility and everything that happened, and yeah, there's a little bit of a dip there, but nothing like the S&P and nothing like the NASDAQ. We're still holding strong over 20,000. Okay, it's 20,300. So it's fluctuated between 20,300, and around maybe just under 21,000. It's kind of sat in that range, and everything else is being hammered. So is Bitcoin kind of decoupling from the stock market? At some point that will happen. But what it has shown is its own stability. So while everybody can, kind of talk down on Bitcoin and crypto saying it's volatile, no one talks about the stock market. You've got stocks that are down 60, 70, 80, some 90 plus %. No one's saying a word about that. And yet throughout all of this, sure, Bitcoin went from 69,000 down to, 17,000. But as stocks have continued to crater, Bitcoin has stayed, if not gained, within the last little while. So going from 17, 18,000 and hovering now within 20,000, 21,000 range. So why I call it the king of the jungle, being here at Disney World, going to Animal Kingdom, they mentioned that the lion sleeps around 16 to 18 hours a day. And that's similar to me to Bitcoin. It's quiet. No one talks about it. It's kind of slumbering, right? No one even pays attention. But there's a lot of chatter, a lot of like hyenas and, birds and whatever, monkeys making a lot of noise. And to me, those are altcoins. So while I love Polygon, I love all those guys. They're doing great things. Vast majority of influencers, media, and within crypto, and just crypto influencers really like to hype up altcoins. And there are going to be some fabulous ones going forward. But to me, they're just the rest of the jungle. They're the animals in the jungle. But when that lion wakes up and moves around, everything else takes notice. And everything waits with bated breath, basically. Everyone's holding their breath, right? All the other animals are holding their breath. What is the king of the jungle going to do? That's Bitcoin to me. And it's something that shows stability, shows strength, and it shows that no matter how great other projects look, the entire market is going to run as Bitcoin runs.